I'll be honest with you. The moment I booked my flight to the Philippines, I wasn't expecting much from the airport. In my head, I pictured something small, plain, maybe a little outdated, just a simple building to pass through on the way to the islands. And I know many foreigners think the same thing. So when the plane started descending and I looked out the window, I expected to see an average runway surrounded by old structures. But the second those wheels touched down, I froze, blinking twice because the airport in front of me looked nothing like what I imagined. The lighting was modern, the architecture was sleek, and the entire arrival area looked new, clean, organized. And when I stepped out of the plane into the jet bridge, I actually stopped walking for a moment because the interior looked like a high-end international hub, not the basic airport I had in my head. It felt like the moment you enter a room expecting something ordinary, and instead walk into a place that instantly makes you think, wait, did I underestimate this country? And as I walked through immigration, things got even crazier, because the entire process was fast, like unbelievably fast. Officers were smiling, greeting travelers politely, scanning passports with modern machines that looked brand new. The lines were moving quicker than what I've experienced in some major Western airports. Then the real shock hit me when the automatic doors opened and I stepped into the main terminal. My jaw literally dropped. The ceilings were high, the floors shining, the signs crystal clear, and everything smelled fresh and clean, not dusty or humid or chaotic like I expected. And the layout? Open, airy, with glass walls that let sunlight pour into the building. It almost felt like stepping into a premium shopping mall rather than an airport. The atmosphere didn't feel stressful, it felt refreshing, calm, welcoming. And at that moment I thought, how come nobody talks about this part of the Philippines? Then I turned a corner, and boom, an entire row of modern cafes, convenience stores, restaurants, tech shops, and local souvenir stands popped up in front of me. The variety was insane. Western brands, Asian brands, Filipino brands, all neatly lined up like a global marketplace. And the food, freshly cooked, highly organized. Staff smiling like they actually wanted you to enjoy your stay. I even passed by a digital charging lounge with soft seats and fast charging ports everywhere. And then came the biggest shock. Clean, well-maintained restrooms with touchless sinks, touchless flush, bright lighting, and not a single smell out of place. I literally whispered, "What is this? This is not basic. This is not even average. This is world class." And as I kept walking, the terminal suddenly opened into this massive area with tall windows where planes were parked like a perfectly arranged fleet. The view was stunning, and for the first time I felt a little embarrassed, because I realized I had totally underestimated Filipino airports without even knowing it. And just when I thought I had seen enough, stepping into the domestic terminal felt like entering a completely different world, because everything inside looked so new, so polished, so thoughtfully designed that I actually stopped walking for a second, just to take it all in. The cool air from the AC hitting my face, the scent of freshly cleaned floors lingering in the atmosphere, and the soft hum of travelers moving calmly from one place to another made the whole space feel alive but not chaotic. And as I walked deeper, the first thing that caught my eye were the self-check-in kiosks, rows of sleek modern machines glowing with bright touchscreens, letting passengers check in, print boarding passes, and tag their own luggage in seconds without waiting in long lines, and the counters beside them were neatly arranged, every staff member smiling, wearing crisp uniforms, assisting travelers with an energy that felt warm and effortless, not forced or tired like you see in many airports around the world. And the digital flight boards above me weren't flickering or outdated. They were ultra-clear LED displays updating in real time, showing arrivals, departures, gate changes, weather conditions, everything perfectly synced. And then as I turned around, I saw this long corridor carpeted in deep blue, with spotlights gently illuminating the walkway like guiding lines in a luxury hotel, and travelers walked slowly, comfortably, without rushing, without pushing, just relaxed, as if the airport itself was designed to calm people instead of stressing them. And to my left was a full stretch of modern cafes, bakeries, and local food counters serving warm Filipino dishes that smelled so good. It made the entire hallway feel cozy, and beside them were charging stations everywhere, rows of tables with fast USB ports, outlets, and soft chairs where people sat scrolling, working, laughing, waiting peacefully for their flights. And then I noticed the Wi-Fi, Because the moment I opened my phone expecting slow loading or disconnects, it shocked me by connecting instantly with fast, stable speed, no lag, no buffering, just smooth connection that made me wonder why people don't talk about this side of the Philippines. And as I kept walking, the terminal suddenly opened into this wide waiting area with tall glass walls showing the entire runway outside, planes landing gracefully, ground crew moving like a coordinated dance, baggage carts gliding in neat lines, air bridges extending smoothly to greet arriving passengers, and everything felt so professional, so synchronized, so advanced that I whispered quietly, "This doesn't look basic at all. This looks like a country leveling up quietly while nobody pays attention." And as the speakers above played soft, crisp announcements with zero static, guiding passengers calmly from gate to gate, I felt this warm respect building in my chest, realizing that this wasn't just an airport. It was a statement, a silent message that the Philippines is modernizing, evolving, upgrading piece by piece, and the world simply hasn't caught up to the truth yet. And then came the part that completely shattered every last expectation I had left, because as I walked toward the international departure area, the entire atmosphere shifted again, transforming from modern to futuristic in a way that made me blink twice just to make sure I wasn't imagining it. The ceiling rose higher, the lighting became softer yet brighter, and the entire hallway stretched out like a scene from a high-budget travel commercial. And right in front of me stood these massive immigration counters, designed with smooth wood accents and glowing white panels that made everything look premium, and the officers behind them weren't stern or intimidating like in many airports. They were calm, friendly, professional, moving with efficiency that made the entire process feel surprisingly stress-free. And the moment I passed through, my jaw dropped even further because the duty-free area was nothing like what I imagined. It wasn't cramped or outdated. It was spacious, organized, and filled with shelves of international brands, perfumes, watches, chocolates, travel essentials, all perfectly arranged under bright lighting that made the whole place feel like a luxury mall. And then I stepped deeper into the lounge area and stopped dead in my tracks because right there, spread out in front of me, were chairs so soft and wide they looked like mini beds. People relaxing with blankets, charging their devices, sipping iced coffee from local cafes and international chains that had made their way inside the terminal. And to the side was a children's play zone, clean, colorful, safe. Something I rarely see even in airports of supposedly more developed countries. And as I moved past it, I walked into a section with floor-to-ceiling windows, showing the runway glowing under the evening sun, planes lined up in perfect formation, ground crew working with precision, luggage carts moving smoothly, and the entire scene looked like a behind-the-scenes documentary of a world-class airport preparing for an international rush hour. Except it was real. It was happening right in front of me. And I couldn't believe this was the Philippines people online always underestimated. And then something small but powerful surprised me even more. The comfort rooms, because when I opened the door expecting something ordinary, I froze again. Everything inside sparkled. Clean tiles, automatic flush, sensor faucets, mirrors with LED borders, air fresheners releasing subtle scents, and attendants constantly maintaining the space. And I laughed quietly because at that moment, I realized the truth. Nothing here was basic. Nothing here matched the old narrative I carried in my head. And the biggest shock came when I saw the airport lounges, these elegant spaces with plush seats, buffet tables, free drinks, fast Wi-Fi, and a calm atmosphere that felt like a 5-star hotel lobby. And the thought hit me hard. How many people out there still think the Philippines is behind, outdated, lacking, when in reality the country has been leveling up quietly, building, upgrading, modernizing in ways the world hasn't even noticed yet? And as I stood there watching travelers from different countries taking photos, smiling, calling relatives to show how beautiful the airport was, I finally understood. This was more than a terminal, more than a building. This was a reminder that the Philippines is changing fast, and if you judge it based on old stories, you'll miss the truth that's right in front of your eyes. And as the plane slowly began to take off, lifting above the runway, I looked down from the window and saw the entire airport complex glowing under the sunlight. Clean roads, new terminals, organized runways, construction cranes building even more expansions. It felt like watching a country evolving in real time. I realized these airports weren't just buildings. They were symbols of progress, pride, and resilience. And in that moment, I felt this rush of respect for the Filipinos who built all of this, maintained all of this, upgraded all of this, piece by piece, without the world noticing. And as the aircraft climbed higher into the sky, leaving the terminal behind, I whispered to myself, "This is the Philippines. This is the real story. And if you think this airport shocked me, wait until you see what else I discovered in this country, because the surprises did not stop here." So if you want more eye-opening stories that the world never shows, make sure you follow, because the next one will blow your mind even more.